Hmm.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is our last session of the day, but I'm still going to give everybody a chance to log back in and get into the session here. And I don't know, it's been such a great day so far. Like what a tremendous group of presenters and solution focused conversation. This has been it's been a great deal. And once again, if you're just joining us, remember that everything that we've done today is on demand. We're also going to broadcast on our YouTube channel. So please, we invite you to share it, to get it to the people that really need to hear it. One of the beauties of what we're seeing in this space is the proliferation of all of these solution focuses. The space in general is really starting to see the benefits of coordinating all of these pieces together. And if you're out there and you're listening and and you're using one or two of these pieces, we encourage you to really reach out to do the whole piece, all of it, where it all integrates together. Because if we're all working together and rowing towards the same goal, the patient benefits. And I think that sometimes as we talk about business solutions, we can get wrapped up in the minutia of dollars and cents and forget that we're talking about people here. And one of the things I do appreciate about all of the individuals we've talked to today is that they've always brought it back to patient focus, and it should come back to really helping the patients to get the services that they're looking for. So excited about that. I see we got a couple more people jumping in. So remember, if you're joining us and you have a technical support question, you can put that in the chat over there. You can talk to Jillian and Dave and they'll hook you up if there's audio or video issues, or if you just want to chat with them, that's cool. They're pretty cool people back there, and you can chat with them in that section. Also, if you want to put where you're watching from, or if you want to chat with some of the other attendees, that's where you're going to do that. But if you have a question for Dr. Hungate, you can put that in the question and answer section, which is down there, and we will hopefully get to that because I think we have a little bit of time today to go through that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get started. I want to introduce Ryan. So Ryan's going to be talking to us today about hacking the staffing crisis, automation and technology. And as we've talked throughout the day-to-day, staffing has been such a huge piece of not only our business efforts going forward, but also through marketing efforts. It's been tremendous to see that change. And so I'm really excited about it. So just real quick, so Dr. Hungate's an orthodontist and founder of Simplifeye, a company focused on streamlining processes to increase patients and revenue while decreasing overhead. Dr. Hungate graduated from the orthodontic specialty program at USC, the Trojans, and continues to volunteer his skills to help children. Prior to dental school, Dr. Hungate worked at Apple's headquarters and helped design a customer workflow adopted by Apple's retail stores globally. He is one of the country's leading experts on the intersection of dentistry and technology. He shares easy to implement advice for dentists who want to modernize their practices and reduce overhead by implementing automation and workflows to help their businesses run more efficiently. So with that, I'll turn it over. Thank you so much, very much for joining us today. We sure appreciate it. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for the introduction, Glenn. Super excited to be here, especially with all of the very forward-thinking people in attendance and watching, and all the people speaking, because it's really, all of you who are going to push all of this forward, right? It really is at the end of the day. So, don't just implement this in your practices. Go out and tell other people about it, because that's how we're going to get even better solutions to happen in the future. So that's what we want to do. Now, I know on the tip of every single person's tongue out there is the staffing problem, right? It's staffing crisis. And that's not okay, right? And on top of that, I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. But we're going to look at it from a different aspect today, okay? We're going to look at it from, instead of saying, I can't find another front desk team member to help me out, I can't find that person to hire, I can't find the right person to hire with experience. We're going to talk about looking at it in a different manner. We can fix it tomorrow, right? Whereas maybe there'll be more people coming to the job pool. Maybe there'll be more people come back to the job pool. I don't know. And I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't know if it's ever going to happen. But what's great is that we can fix the problem tomorrow, and we can have a better solution going forward. Okay? All right. Does anybody's practice look like this? Okay? I know that a lot of you out there have this happening. This is a crazy problem that was caused by COVID. I'm sick of talking about this because I've been talking about the great resignation since late 2020. And this is the problem. We just set another record, right? 4.53 million workers quit their jobs in March of 2022, right? That beat 2021. That's not cool. Okay. What's happening? Why is this occurring? Well, there's a lot of different things that we discovered during COVID, right? During the pandemic when we were at home. All right. There's a couple things. One, some of us found out that we liked our family. Okay. Others found out they did not like their family. Some people felt like there was a gigantic risk happening at their job. Okay, some of them felt a little bit more secure. But no matter what, we all found out that we figured out some way to work from home more. Okay, so we had more time to ourselves. Some of us hit the gym with that time. Some of us made cookies every single day, like me, right? But at the exact same time, we had to figure things out at the end of the day, and we did. But the problem is now when we went back to work, there's only one other industry that's suffering more than retail healthcare, which is where dental lies, right? And that's the restaurant business. I don't know if any of you have showed up to, your favorite Chili's lately and they're closing at 7 instead of 9, but this is happening everywhere. And we're feeling it in the exact same way. So we're not on a limb by ourselves. So how are all these other industries dealing with this and how are we going to deal with it? Well, there's a couple things that are happening. First of all, we need to have a 12% increase in production to offset rising costs because all the things that happened and all the different bailout packages that were created from the previous administration and this administration, right? Inflation is happening everywhere. I'm sure you guys all saw the Fed raising rates again yesterday. This isn't going away anytime soon, but we need a 12% offset to or increase in production to offset these rising costs. But here's the problem, right? 33% of us out there by location can't fill our schedule due to staffing issues. No, I did not say that we can't fill our schedule because we have a lack of patients. That's different from the previous recession, right? Back in 2008, we just had a lack there of patients. Now we got patients lying down around the corner that want treatment. We don't have the people to see them. That's a good problem, okay? We like good problems to have. But again, we're not going to solve this job pool problem by ourselves. We can't put people through school to get them back into our practice, okay? So what do we do to fix that? Well, first of all, we have to acknowledge that now there is an on-demand service and culture of convenience that happen with all of our patients. So like Lynn was saying, we got to focus on what the patients want. See what they want, then see what we can do in our practice. Maybe we can kill two birds with one stone here, okay? But these people want on-demand service and a culture of convenience. What am I talking about? Well, it's instant gratification, no interaction. It used to be that people would show up to our practice and we would pride ourselves on the actual, process and the experience. And so, oh, you're going to pay more at my practice because it's going to be an experience. Now they will pay you twice as much if you can reach to a screen, treat their ailments, and they never have to talk or see you. Okay? It has changed. We want to get back to work. We want to get back to our lives. It's all about the patient now. It used to be about the doctor's time. Now it's about the patient. And we have to focus on that. If you haven't seen your process to get a patient started in your practice, right, get them registered, get them to schedule an appointment and get them in the chair lately, if you haven't actually gone through that yourself, do it, right? If you haven't, and when you go through that, if you're not thinking, man, I would like to come here, that was so easy. You have a problem that you have to fix. Too many of us just look at it and go, why aren't people, getting into my chair? Why are there so many cancellations? Why are there so many no-shows? All these different pieces. Put yourself through that process. See if you can get the instant gratification that you expect from a DoorDash, from an Uber, right? From a TaskRabbit out there, right? Is it that kind of an experience? Because all of those tools are now available to give that experience. How is dentistry going to evolve at the end of the day? That's what we have to ask ourselves. We have a huge change in front of us. It's not that it's coming, it's here. It's been here for a while. But a lot of us have been beating our heads up against the exact same wall, trying to figure out, how do I fix this? How do I fix this? How do I fix this? Waiting for another hygienist to apply, waiting for another assistant to apply when there's technologies out there that can help us, right? And the way we're going to do this, and a common thread through every single thing that we've been talking about today, and Glenn just hit on this, even through the marketing side, through participation with your culture, all the way through the technologies that we have, it's automation. We have to be okay with this, right? We have to. Why? Well, First of all, we have to focus on reducing time-consuming tasks. What am I talking about here? Well, we have to talk about scheduling. We have to talk about maybe x-ray diagnostics with artificial intelligence. Maybe we can help those things and speed things up and standardize them at the exact same time, right? Payment processing, pieces like that. And why do we want to focus on those time-consuming tasks? Well, first of all, your front desk didn't want to do them anyway, okay? Nobody wakes up, stretches, gets out of bed and goes, man, I can't wait to call 80 patients to reschedule them for the treatment they need to get in for. Right? They don't stretch and go, oh man, I can't wait to go call and confirm insurance on 100 different patients today. No, what they're excited about is they want to come in and they want to focus on patients. Why do you love your job as a practice owner? Why do you love your job as a doctor? I don't know about you, but I love talking with patients, right? The little minutia, it's fun to put a smile on their face and see the instantaneous result that I can provide them. That's awesome. But I also like the in-between, right? Almost every doctor I know needs to be told to shut up and to move on by their assistants. Why? We like talking to people. We like interacting with them. And guess what? Your front desk team and every other person in your office likes that part of their job the best. So if we can actually reduce the time-consuming tasks that they didn't want to do anyway and allow them to focus more on patients, the patients are going to get a better experience in the small amount of time in your practice. Okay? They're going to like it more too. Now, let's talk about some of the things that the front desk does. Well, right now they're already having people, welcoming them when they come in. They're having them fill out forms, right? They're also putting things in the binders for the insurance, right? Oh, wait a second. And they're also scheduling and they're taking payments. Oh, and then on top of that, they're calling insurance companies. Yeah, they do so much. And right now there's a reduced number of those people as well. That's the problem. Okay, when you went from 5 front desk people to 2 or 3 to 1, the same amount of work still lays there. Okay, we have to figure out how we turn that person bionic because we cannot throw people at the problem anymore. We cannot do that. People are not lying down around the corner, right? We have to make human beings bionic. What do I mean by this? Okay, well, things like automated scheduling. Why are you making people call you to schedule their appointments? Don't do that. When was the last time you were excited to call an airline to reserve your seat? When was the last time you wanted to go to a restaurant and you weren't looking on OpenTable or Google before you went there? Okay? Your patients want this experience. Software can now help automate this and they can do it like your front desk. Software is there. Same thing with payment processing. Right? If you're wondering why people aren't paying their bills and you're still sending out paper mailers, right? What do you do when you get a paper bill? You let it sit on your desk for 2 weeks until the next one comes, and the next one, and the next one. And then finally somebody calls you, and for some odd reason you pick up the call when you usually don't answer random phone calls, and maybe you pay it over the phone. Okay? Nobody likes giving their credit card over the phone. Make it so you can send text and email invoices to your patients so they can pay via Apple Pay or Google Pay or cards on file. And on top of that, right, make it so all of your software integrates with your electronic health record. If your software is not integrating with your electronic health record, guess what? You don't get this effect, right? Because if you've got, like, say, text and email invoicing, but it's a completely separate thing over here, and a subscription platform, but it's completely over here in a separate place. All of these things need to integrate with your electronic health record, the Dentrix, the EagleSoft, the OpenTable, because when you do that, you get an actual true reduction in work. And when you get a true reduction in work, you get less errors, which is awesome because automation equals less errors. Right? Have you ever typed anything into a calculator wrong? All of us have. Okay, and so it reduces errors, and on top of that, you get a happier team. And because you get a happier team, you get happier patients. And this is a fact, right? People out there don't want to fill out paper forms anymore. They don't want to, pay via check and then balance their checkbook. We are still living in that world. These are the things where we can just bring everything up to date, give them the exact same experience that they get when they walk into Starbucks. And there's softwares out there that can help you with this, right? This is what we built at Simplifeye, where they can help you with all this. Things like Patient Prism, right? Like Dreamscape, automating all of your marketing needs. Don't think about it. We as doctors like to growth hack. We feel proud when we do things ourselves. I get it. But take that hat off, give it to somebody else. Buy your time back because it's a lot cheaper for you to give somebody else that task than it is for you to learn how to do it and do it at a much lower efficiency than they do. Okay, that's what I highly recommend here. So Automation at the end of the day. That's what you need to do. Identify tasks within your practice that are not something somebody wants to do anyway, and you will have much happier staff, and you will take that one person and all of a sudden they'll be able to do the job of the 2 people or 3 people that you used to have in that one place, alleviating a lot of that staffing problem. All righty then. Let's see, Glenn, you want to bring us in for some questions here?
Absolutely. I would love to do that. I've been like over in the chat playing around and like, I just think it is such with this younger demographic, this is something I'm seeing whenever you start to talk about having even minor difficulty or difficult conversations, when you start talking about payment, they really do want an automation rather than a person. And just because they don't want to look like they're unable to have the conversation, or it's so much, it's actually a customer service thing that we're seeing. So it is a challenge to get updated and to be able to talk to that demographic. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing about integration, right? When you have a software that actually takes that off of the front desk team, it's not just them learning something else. Because there's so many times where I think we go to conferences and we buy something and then we go back, we say, it's your job to figure it out, front desk. If you go to a conference and come back and you go, hey, Bobby, you know how like you hate taking all those phone calls for schedules and you have to do it all the time and we have to pay you on the weekend to answer phone calls? Yeah, you're never going to have to do that again. They're going to go, what? What do you mean? This is awesome. I didn't want to, like, this is what I needed. It's so often that we do the exact opposite of that. And I think that if we start focusing on software solutions and automation that does that and reduces time consuming tasks, we'll get a lot of wins.
Well, and coming in at it from a leadership perspective, whenever I would have conversations with employees, I remember one in particular where I'd asked an individual to take on a few more duties or responsibilities in a growth role where this particular person was going to be able to do more and grow beyond what he had originally been hired to do. And I often got kind of pushback from him that he felt like, what do you mean? This is not really what I want to do. And I feel like I'm being asked to do more than my job. And it really just shed some light on it for me that we really do as employers and as business owners have to really listen to our employees and our staff about what they do want to do, and then try to put them in a situation where they can be successful. And if we can automate some of those processes that we don't want to do and they don't want to do, it will help with staff attraction, retention. It helps build work culture. There's so much more that goes along with that, because the employee today, like they are very aware of those things, and they know whenever they're being asked to do a task that they don't really want to do, they're aware of that, and they just won't. They don't.
Yeah, it's one of the questions that Kim asks is like, dentists don't often want anyone else scheduling for them, right? We get that all the time. No, Bobby at the front desk, they're the only one that knows how to do this. No, right? You got talked to by the exact same consultant that everybody else got taught by within this industry. It's not that magical. And even if there are tweaks, software can actually handle it. I think a lot of people were scalded because back in like 2010, a lot of people were hyping some of this stuff and it just wasn't there. It was delayed. It was slow technology. And we tried it and we were like, that failed. Now it's more so you can represent somebody's brand perfectly. And for all the things that are in between, you can even have things like live chat, right? Where you can talk with people, with real human beings, not a bot, which everybody hates. And healthcare is way too complicated for bots anyway. But you can actually have that conversation, call it a reservation instead of an appointment if you want to represent that brand perfectly. So we can schedule in the exact same way that all of these other front desk team members can do. And look, you're not taking all of it away, but you're taking a large amount, right? There's a lot of, Gartner believes that 70% of scheduling is going to happen online within the next year. If for all of you out there that are going, well, I don't do any of that online, guess what? 70% of your scheduling is going to somebody else then. It's just that simple. And then the other piece that we like to look at is that when you start taking things online, right, and Dreamscape knows this more than anybody else, you guys generate the top of funnel in a gigantic way for clients, right? That's amazing. The problem is after there, how do we track them walking in the front door, sitting down in their spend? What's beautiful on the conversion side, which is like where we sit, I can now tell you where John Smith came from, right? Because we integrate with the Google Analytics that you give us. I can tell them that they walked through the front door, sat down, and spent $1,200. So that then you can see what actually triggered that and go back and spend more on the original marketing spend. That's awesome, right? That's what we need
It's
to do.
amazing. And I will tell you this, that coming in our role, coming in from behavioral healthcare, we've had to do that for 17 years, right? Like that, it has been the normal practice and the way business is done, because in that vertical, in that area, the only direct to consumer channel is through digital, right? And so we came into other areas and started talking about the patient journey and being able to track them all the way down the funnel. And then, like you said, attaching that dollar amount there to know if we're really targeting the right particular patient. And that only improves patient care. And some of the looks that we get, like, you can do that? Like, yes, absolutely, you can do that. And the more savvy business operators are seeing the benefit of it. And then once we have that baseline established, it's scalable. That's when we really get
that's
into
huge. It's an easy win for your practice to get. And look, Daniel hit it right on the head. I thought this webinar smelled amazing. So that makes sense that he's here, right? So all this together, like he's saying, the more mature crowd, right? First of all, like everybody goes, oh no, this is a Gen Z, this is a millennial thing. First of all, millennials are 40, sadly, because I'm a millennial. I'm a zennial, I like to say, right? But at the same time, right? I don't know about you, but my grandma, who's in her upper 80s, is on her iPad way more than I am. Right? That's all she does all day long. She doesn't go outside. It's not like she's jogging around because her knees are great, right? She's on her iPad. She's the one at the concert blocking your view by recording the entire thing or recording fireworks on it, right? That's just what they do. So that generation, maybe the generation before them didn't know technology, but they're gone, right? This generation, even the older ones, they all like it. If anything, they like it more.
I will tell you, we do a lot of work in the senior living area and aging services, and we've done extensive market research with that demographic. And I'm telling you, they're in many instances, they're on iPads more than even the younger generation. And if you guys have ever spent any time, you will see they are all about it. And so it absolutely is necessary for all of them. Look, this has been amazing. I really enjoy. So where are you going to be next? Like, where can we continue the conversation? Where can the audience conceive?
Yeah, so we're going to be at the DEO event in Chicago, hanging out there, me and Pat Troy. And then I think, like a lot of us, we're going down to the DSO Summit down in Nashville. And then also a quick shout out, this next month, we will be releasing the dates and location of our next Simplifeye conference. So Simplifeye 2.0, we'll be announcing that, which is a lot of fun. I think almost everybody that I see here, at least in the chat right now, was there last year. I know, Glenn, you weren't able to make it. We're going to get you there this year. But we had a lot of fun, and it should be a really cool time. A lot of forward-thinking stuff. So look for that announcement and get your early registration in there. And shout out to Kim Fuller and Ashley Newman for arranging that. Even Beth Gaddis out there, too. Quick shout out to her.
Absolutely. We're excited to be a part of that. And again, as a group, and just, you and all the other speakers today, just so grateful for everybody taking the time out to be a part of this event and to share the solutions. It just, once again, it really shows the sophistication of our industry, that we are looking at these problems and presenting solutions for them. And once again, it is the integrated approach that really does benefit the patient and the patient journey. So just look, thank you, Dr. A. I really appreciate you being a part of this thing. Any closing thoughts before we end up closing this whole thing down?
No, I think that everybody here heard some amazing things that they can do for their practice today. Pick one, pick two, hell, pick them all. But at the same time, don't freeze up. That's my biggest thing. Take your first step and then take the next step. And after a while, you're going to realize that you're running. It's just that simple. But don't freeze up and think, I'll get to that eventually. Make one change, pick it. And look, you will be very happy. And even better yet, your patients are going to be even happier.
Wonderful. Look, I thank you for that. I appreciate it. I'm going to throw this up here one last time. If you'd like to connect with us or any of the speakers from today, please feel free to reach out. We'd love to make that connection and be the glue here. We'd love to share any more detailed solutions along these lines. If there's anything when it comes to performance marketing in the space. We'll get in the weeds with you. And I know that any of the other presenters here in any of the areas that they presented solutions would love to get in the weeds with you on this. So please feel free to reach out to us. Also, this is going to be available on demand in perpetuity, and so you'll always be able to get access to this. If you have a doctor or another operator out there that this would be helpful for, feel free to share this information with them. Let them know that it is available. We're going to be putting it on our YouTube channel for any of our speakers out there. Also, we invite you to share it on there. Whenever we get it out, we'll send that to you. But once again, thank y'all so much for being a part of this forum. We look forward to doing it again. Thank y'all so very much, and we hope y'all have a wonderful rest of the first day of fall. Thank y'all for joining us.